For me, it was two things. It was one that I definitely thought I hit rock bottom, and that I was truly addicted to many of these things. I couldn't really focus. All my time was occupied. I couldn't get the reward of seeing friends and relaxing, really. I was just, I had no attention span. So I realized I really needed to change. And I started reading books, reading papers. The papers I found very interesting, but the books I thought really didn't quite provide the perspective that would be most valuable to a young adult, which would be the perspective of a young adult who had, experienced the issues, got over them, and as I later was able to get, the experience of working in the field. Instead, there were many older authors that, at a high level, really did, point out the issues and spoke very, poignantly about them, like Sherry Turkle, such like that. But there was a gap. So I thought, even though I'm relatively young and would actually have probably preferred not to write the book, I felt like I really needed to. And so that was the beginning of like a 3-year process of interviewing, writing. I love writing, but it's definitely tough. So I got into it thinking that there was this need. It started from there. So half of it is social media, but then half of it is what I call digital sexual addiction. So addiction to pornography, but also to, I think, sexual stimuli on social media. So, we were talking about social media before, and I think for a lot of people, part of the draw, especially to services like Instagram, is to consume sexual stimulation because they're essentially like hyper reactive to it from heavy use of porn because it wears down receptivity, but at the same time increases their reaction to the digital. Anyways, we can go into that. It's quite complicated, but yeah. So it's part social media, part porn, and then there's also maybe 20% of just like general advice for transitioning from a life of constant multitasking to a life of single tasking, singular focus on things for sustained periods of time without distraction. And I go into a lot of the science behind that as well. Throughout the book, there are 100 citations, and there's, a co-author that worked with me as well. So it walks through those challenges, and then goes through my narrative of experiencing the issues, changing my behavior, improving my life, and advising others on how they can do the same.